You're born on a farm in Westeros, which sounds wholesome, peaceful, maybe even cozy. It is none of those things. Your first breath is 30% air, 70% fertilizer. Your first visual memory is a goat staring at you like you owe it money. Your first sound is your mother whispering a prayer that you won't die of anything on the lengthy Westeros natural causes list, which includes disease, cold, hunger, taxation, and being slightly too close to someone important. Your crib, a wooden box your father swears used to be a feed trough. Your toys, rocks, your bathwater, a rumor. Welcome to the agricultural hellscape. Your childhood, the prequel to suffering. Your childhood begins the same way most tragedies do in Westeros, with mud, hunger, and a strong sense that the universe has already given up on you. Your first toy? Not a wooden sword, not a carved horse, not even a rock with a face scratched into it. No, you get a shovel, a full-sized one, taller than you, heavier than your future trauma. Your parents hand it to you the way nobles hand their kids Valyrian steel, except instead of glory, yours promises chronic back pain by age 9. Your first life lesson comes shortly after. Don't cry, it scares the livestock. Translation: emotional expression equals economically inconvenient. Congrats. You've unlocked emotional repression, the first psychological milestone of a Westerosi peasant. While other kids are learning colors and numbers, you're learning weather patterns like a bootleg medieval meteorologist, nose in the wind, eyes on the clouds, praying the sky doesn't look like famine today. And here's the thing, no matter what the clouds say, the forecast never changes. Rain, famine, or death. Sometimes all three before lunchtime. You watch noble children in passing, riding horses, practicing sword swings, dreaming of honor and destiny. Meanwhile, your dreams are far more grounded, literally grounded, as in, please gods, let at least one of these crops survive long enough to be eaten by a human instead of a plague of metaphorical or literal locusts. Other kids dream of knighthood, shining armor, glory, songs sung about them. You dream of something far rarer, far more meaningful, far more heroic. A harvest where nothing dies. Not the crops, not the goats, not the neighbors, not you. That's the psychological foundation of your life. You don't grow up hoping for greatness. You grow up negotiating with probability and losing. Because in Westeros, childhood isn't innocence. It's training. Training for weather trauma, food trauma, lord trauma, and, eventually, dragon trauma. A whole developmental arc built on environmental stress, hypervigilance, and a quiet, resigned acceptance that your destiny is spelled with dirt. Welcome to your origin story. A farmer's life doesn't begin with opportunity. It begins with a bucket, a warning, and a prayer that the gods are in a good mood today. Spoiler, they never are. Childhood, apprenticeship, and suffering. Your earliest lessons: ducks bite, cows kick, chickens judge, wheat fails, and the weather. Oh, the weather. You age in dog years just dealing with rain schedules. When it rains too much, famine. When it rains too little, famine. When it rains at the wrong vibe, also famine. Your clothes never fit. Your boots never match. Your dreams never matter. Meanwhile, the local lord's child is learning archery, literacy, and politics, while you are learning the exact color of the sky that means, oh no, we're all doomed. Psychologically, this is environmental hypervigilance. Your brain turns into a medieval weather radar because your survival literally depends on it. Congratulations. You're 8 years old and already exhausted. Taxes, the original horror genre. You harvest your crops, you feel proud, you smile. Then the tax collector arrives. He has the energy of someone who has never done a real day of labor and the confidence of a man who will never be held accountable for anything ever. He says,
for the king,
then,
for the Lord,
then,
for the war effort,
then,
for the rebuilding after the war effort,
then,
for the rebuilding that will be needed after the next war effort.
And you're left with 3 potatoes, a gourd, emotionally complicated feelings toward authority. You pay in grain, coin, livestock, dignity, or all 4. This is resource scarcity psychology. The kind that makes you consider punching a fully armored knight because he took your last turnip. You don't punch him, of course. You kneel, because this is Westeros, and kneeling is the national pastime. Bandits, soldiers, and passing armies. You do not have enemies, but enemies absolutely have you. Every time soldiers ride through your village, your entire family reacts like a trauma-trained choir. Doors slam shut, heads bow, prayers start, goats hide, because they know they're always the first to go. Nobles call it requisitioning supplies. You call it theft with a budget. Bandits steal because they're criminals. Soldiers steal because they're performing their duty. The end result is identical. Your pantry becomes a crime scene with hoofprints. And somehow, after every raid, the Septon gives you the same pep talk.
The gods test the humble most.
Yeah, sure. That's why lords sleep on feather beds and you sleep on hay that gives you rashes in places hay should never touch. Psychologically, this is learned helplessness, the state where constant suffering trains your brain to stop resisting, not because you agree, but because resistance is pointless. Your nervous system taps out long before your spirit does. And just when you think it can't get worse, don't worry, Westeros always finds a way, because the next nightmare isn't even human. Weather, your most toxic relationship. Every farmer in Westeros could write poetry about weather trauma. Winter, horrifying. Summer, also horrifying. That one weirdly warm week in early spring, deeply suspicious. You've watched crops die more dramatically than Shakespeare characters. Heatwave, the barley shrivels. Cold snap, the wheat gives up. Storm, the goats flee. Frost, the turnips scream. Your entire mood depends on clouds now. You see one darker shade of gray and immediately start planning a famine. This is anticipatory anxiety. Your brain keeps running simulations of disaster because reality keeps confirming them. Famine, the season that never ends. Harvest was bad last year, but this year is a tragedy. You learn the hard way that Westeros has no safety nets, just safety holes. Food shortages hit differently when your entire chain of supply is you. When winter comes, everyone starves equally. Peasants, animals, the rats eating the other rats. There's no nutritional advice here. Your diet is whatever hasn't died yet. Calling it seasonal depression is cute. You're living in generational famine disorder, where every hardship is a flashback to a previous hardship you never recovered from. Nights, the strangers you fear most. You know who really terrifies you? Not wildlings, not white walkers, not giants. Knights. Because knights are just nobles with swords and terrible impulse control. They ride into your village demanding food, shelter, your best goat, your second best goat, sometimes your daughter, always your patience. If you speak out of turn, they give you the,
Do you know who I am?
Look, no, you don't. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Whoever they are, they can legally ruin you. This is power asymmetry, when one side can do anything and the other side can only apologize for existing. War, the uninvited house guest. You hear whispers. A king died. A wedding went wrong. A dragon lady is angry. Before you even finish your breakfast, your village becomes a battlefield. Armies don't fight in castles. Oh no, they fight in fields. Your fields. You try hiding behind a haystack. Someone sets it on fire. You try running. Someone chases you for sport. Battlefields look heroic from the bard's perspective. From your perspective, it's just unpaid property damage with bonus screaming. And afterward, guess who rebuilds everything? Not the soldiers, not the lords, you, while trying not to cry on your last surviving carrot. Dragons, the final boss of agriculture. You see a shadow, then heat, then fire, then your crops evaporate. A dragon is beautiful if you're royalty. A Targaryen, someone standing very far away. If you're a farmer, a dragon is a winged unemployment notice. You stare at the ashes of your field thinking,
Did a lizard just cost me my livelihood?
Yes, it did. There's no insurance adjuster for burned by mythical reptile. Just a friendly reminder from the Septon.
Sometimes the gods test.
No, stop. This isn't a test. It's arson. Religion, a lot of gods, zero help. When things get bad, which is always, villagers start praying like they're trying to win a cosmic raffle. There are the seven, the old gods, the Lord of Light, the drowned god, the many-faced god. You pray to all of them because you don't have time to figure out who's in charge. It's spiritual speed dating. Your prayers become shotgun hope.
Please, whoever's on shift, stop the frost, save the crops, and maybe keep that goat from flinging itself into the river again.
But the gods don't answer. They don't even send a receipt. The crops die anyway, the roof still leaks, and the goat learns nothing. This is superstitious coping. When rituals replace real power because you don't have any, you're trying to control the weather with vibes and sage. You end up kneeling more than a northern bannerman, muttering prayers like,
Look, I don't need a miracle. I just need 1 week without death, fire, or taxes.
But don't worry, the gods may not help you, but the next disaster absolutely will find you. Stay tuned, because Westeros isn't done ruining your life yet. Winter, the great undoing. Then it happens. The sky darkens, the snow falls, the cold gets personal. Winter arrived. Every farmer becomes an indoor philosopher.
Why am I alive? Why is the wind angry? Why does my soup taste like sadness?
You ration food, you stretch supplies, you burn furniture for warmth. Your entire family sleeps in one bed like a pile of anxious puppies. Winter is when you realize your greatest enemy isn't dragons or knights, it's entropy. Everything decays, everything freezes, everything dies. The psychological damage, that's survival fatigue. The exhaustion that comes from knowing your life depends on things you cannot control. The wildlings, the walkers, and the walls. You hear rumors,
The dead walk.
There are giants in the north!
There's a man who came back from the dead because he had too much trauma to stay dead.
you're a farmer. You do not want lore. You do not want prophecy. You want potatoes. But now monsters are coming to kill you. Why? You don't know. You're not even politically significant. You're not a prince. You're not a knight. You're not even a baker, and bakers at least get plot armor for feeding the main cast. Your only contribution to society is carrots. It's humbling. It's insulting. It's, honestly, a little rude. You didn't sign up for cosmic horror. You signed up for barley. All you hear is,
Winter is coming.
okay, John, thanks, but winter comes every year. Could we be a little more specific? Is it the normal, my boots froze to the floorboards winter? Or the White Walkers and that dragon they pulled out the river coming from my last goat type of winter? This is existential anxiety, the creeping dread that the universe is not only hostile, but also wildly unorganized. And you are stuck dealing with apocalyptic monsters while holding a bag of turnips. The aftermath. Rebuilding with trauma hands. The wars end, the dragons leave, the walkers retreat. But do you get a break? Absolutely not. Now it's rebuilding time, which is just work, squared. You fix fences, you replant fields, you reconstruct houses. You cry into the soil a little, and then the tax collector returns.
For the realm?
For the realm? The realm burnt my house. But fine, you pay. This is chronic burnout, when you're too tired to scream and too numb to laugh. Generational misery, your children don't escape. One day your son asks,
Father, will things ever get better?
you look at him, you look at the field, you look at the sky, you sigh, you say,
No.
because this is Westeros, and your lineage is just a multi-episode arc of agricultural trauma. Your children will inherit your debts, inherit your fields, inherit your fears, inherit your shovel. They will not inherit literacy. They will not inherit hope. At best, they inherit a goat, a single goat, named Despair. Why it really sucks to be a farmer in Westeros. It sucks because you are overworked, underpaid, underfed, underprotected. Everything in your life wants to kill you. Weather, war, nobles, disease, dragons, undead, taxes, and capitalism, medieval edition. You provide the entire kingdom with food and get absolutely none of the kingdom's protection. Your entire existence is the backbone of civilization, treated with the respect of a doormat. Psychologically, you are the perfect embodiment of learned helplessness, hypervigilance, chronic scarcity, collective trauma, survival mode as a personality. You are, in every sense, the unsung NPC of Westeros. And without you, the whole Seven Kingdoms starve in a week. But do they thank you? Absolutely not. They tax you harder. Because being a farmer in Westeros doesn't just suck. It's a life sentence handed down by geography. Which part of the farmer life hits you hardest? The weather trauma, the dragon drive-bys, or the taxes that feel like legalized robbery? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if your brain feels 40% frostbitten but 60% wiser. And hit subscribe if you're into ideas that stick, figures that sketch. Ready for your next system update? Tap here and keep surviving smarter.